Hello, third grade. This week we're going to work on making a maze game. So the first thing we need to do is we got to get rid of the cat. So I'm going to get rid of the cat, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to search. And you could use something that you would like. I'll show you what I'm going to use. I'll use the ball, and then that's going to be something that I control. And then I'm going to search, and I need something that's going to be my target. So I'll make the apple my target. Okay, so what I could also do is I could make these a little smaller. If I click on the ball, I could make it a little smaller, go from 100 maybe to 80. And then the apple, I'll make that 80 as well. So you can adjust this to the size that you want. Okay, so now we got our ball and our apple, and we'll talk about how to code those later. Next thing we need to do is we need to make a background. So I go over here, okay, and we're going to paint the background. So you go over here, and then painting. So we're going to paint the background now. So when you have a maze, you can use, you could either use this and paint it in, and you can go like this, and you could draw it in, or you could use a shape. So sometimes it's easier to use the shape. So I'll use a shape here like this. Okay, maybe I'll make it like this. Maybe make it a little bigger, make it a little harder. Okay, so now our little maze is coming in. Then what I'll do is I'll go over here. I'll take my mouse and I'll point over here. And I'm going to now do another one. So you don't want to confuse the computer. That's why I do that. And you could do the maze however you want to do it. I'm going to make it like this. Maybe like that. And then I'm going to make another one over this. So now I got a little bit of a maze here. And I'm going to make another one down here. Okay, like that. Okay, so now you see what the ball has to go through the maze. And then what I could do is I could add something else over here to make it a little bit more tricky. Maybe I'll add something. Why don't I do it like this? Actually, let me go back. You can always do edit on. Actually, we'll do it like this. We'll use this undo. The undo. And maybe what I'll do is I'll make it like this. I'll make it right like this. So it's a little bit tricky to get through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a game now where you have to get through the maze and you have to get to the apple. So what we have to do is we have to program the game so that the ball can't go through the blocks here. And we have to make it so that when you get to the apple, it says you win. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the ball here. Okay, so we go to the ball and we go to code. So ball and code. And the first thing we want to do is we want to put the ball over here when we start the game, okay? And if you want to make the game easier, I would even make the ball a little small. Let's make it 50. Now it's even smaller, a little easier to control. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to say when the flag is clicked, we're going to say go to motion, go to. Now you could make your own. You could make your own maze. So you may put your ball down here, or you may put it up here, and you may have a different design. I would prefer your game to look different than mine. So you're gonna probably have a different code than me, but I'll show you the concept of how to do it. So I put the ball here when I want it to start, and I look at these numbers. The x coordinate, x is left and right, y is up and down. The x coordinate is negative 218. So I go negative 218. And then the y is 148, and they put that in for me. So if you want to always check, you can check over here, and they put it there. So we have that now, okay? So now we need to put in an event. An event is what do you want to do when a button is clicked. So we'll go to events, and we'll go in spacebar, and we're going to change this to the left arrow, okay? And then we're going to go to events, and we're going to do when the right arrow. Okay, so now we have left, right, and then we have up, and then we have down. Okay, so you see I just keep taking this when the space bar is pressed, and I just make left, right, up, and down. Okay, so when the left arrow is pressed, the right arrow is pressed, up arrow, and the down arrow. So what do you want to happen when the left arrow is pressed? You go to motion and point in direction. Okay, and we're going to make this to the left. And the left is negative, oh, sorry about that. Left is negative 90. What do you want to do when the right arrow is pressed? You want him to go to the right. So point in direction, and the arrow's to the right, and that's 90. What do you want to happen when the up arrow is pressed? Point in direction, up arrow's pressed, and like this. Okay? What do you want to do when the down arrow is pressed? Point in direction and move down. Now, it's not enough for just to point in that direction. You also have to move. So you're going to make this move 10 steps. So point in that direction. When the left arrow is pressed, point left and move 10 steps. When the right arrow is pressed, point to the right and go 10 steps. When the up arrow is pressed, point up, right? And then you want to move 10 steps. And when the down arrow is pressed, point down, right? Point down and move 10 steps. And you could change this. You could make this 10 steps, 15, 5. It's up to you. Okay, so obviously, if you made this 2 steps, the game's going to be a little bit slower. Okay, so now we have our game that I can move, right? I can move my guy with the arrows. But let me show you a problem. A problem that we have is I'm going through the maze. That doesn't work. We don't want to do that, right? The game is not working properly. So we need to put in a code for the computer. We need to tell the computer if the ball is going into the purple here, if it's going into this purple, do not let that happen. So the computer needs a code for that. So here's how you do it. Events. When do you want to start that? That's called the conditional if then. So I'm going to tell the computer when the flag is clicked, if the ball is touching the purple, we don't want it to go that far. We want it to go backwards. So here's how we're going to do it. When the flag is clicked, we have a forever loop. When the flag is clicked, we have a forever loop. And we're going to say if then. So forever, do this. Forever, if the ball is touching this color, if it's touching this purple color, we want it to go backwards, right? Because we don't want people cheating and going through. So if sensing, touching color. Now here's the part that some kids get confused at. Okay, so we say if touching color, then what do you want to do? The color has to match this exactly. Okay, so if, and I click this, if, and I click like that. So I'll show you again. I click here, click on the color, then I click over here, and then I got to get the exact color because the computer doesn't understand unless you get the exact color. So forever loop, whenever the flag's clicked, forever we want to do is if the ball is touching a purple color, what are we going to do? We're going to move backwards. So we're going to say move and negative 10 steps, negative 10 steps. Okay, so now let's play our game. Now when I click the flag, the ball goes up here. I can move my arrows, and now if I try to cheat, okay, I get caught. Okay, because our code says if it's touching this color, move negative 10 steps. So sometimes children get confused. They forget to put the forever loop around. So keep it in forever so that people can't get through after 4 or 5 tries. So you keep it forever. And also remember to do this. You pick your color, make it the exact right color, right? We talked about that. And also move negative 10 steps so that it goes backwards. Okay? So we have that. So we have our game working so far like this. Oh, I got to click the flag again. Okay, so we have our game working, right? We have our game working. The last thing we have to do is we need to have something happen when it gets to the flag. The apple, I'm sorry, when it gets to the apple. Okay, so we have to have something programmed so that it can tell the person that they won the game if they get to the apple. So now I go to the apple. Okay, I go to the apple, and I say when the flag's clicked. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to do it forever. Control, forever. And what do I want to do? I want a conditional. A conditional is an if-then. If, what do I want to say? If the apple is touching the ball. Okay, so I could say forever if, and I go to sensing. Touching, and we make this the ball. If the apple is touching the ball. And you could put the apple wherever you want. You could put it down here maybe. So if the apple is touching the ball, what do you want to do? I want to say you win. And you could put a sound in there if you want. You could put a sound in here instead, however you like to do it. So now let's play our game. When I click my flag, if the apple touches the ball, if the ball and the apple are touching, it says you win. And now we have our ball over here. When it's clicked, the ball goes up here. The left arrow is pressed, points to the left, moves 10 steps. Right arrow points to the right, moves 10. Up arrow points up, moves 10 steps. Down arrow points down, moves 10 steps. And forever loop, if it's touching a purple color, you're going to move 10 steps. So let's click our flag, and we'll start up here. I click stop. I started up here. And now if I try to cheat, I can't get through. That's cheating. Okay, now I'm going to go through. Let's see if we can get the game to work. I can't cheat. Can't cheat. You don't want a game where people can cheat. You win. Okay, so remember what you could do is you could change the size of these. See, I changed the ball size to make it 50 instead of 100. So you could change the size, and you could use sound instead of instead of it saying you win, you could make a sound or something like that. So that's our project for this week. We're going to make a maze game. You can use different sprites, and you can use a different background, and you can make a maze how you want to make your maze. And I've seen children, they do very interesting things in here, and they make interesting designs. So that's up to you how you want to do it. When you're finished with your project, please take a photo of both sprites. Okay, so please take a photo of both sprites and attach that photo to Google Classroom. You can also go up here and remember to sign in. Remember to sign into your account first, and you can call this the maze game. And then you could do file, save now. If you want to download to your computer, do file, save to your computer. And like I said, when you're finished, please take a photo of both sprites and attach it to Google Classroom so I could see if your code needs any debugging.